Hey there crew, it's Mark, and in today's video we're taking a look at a different type of productivity system, taking it super minimal because that's the way that UgMonk does it. If you're not familiar with UgMonk, it's a company owned by Jeff Sheldon, and he just has some of the coolest looking products around, from his analog system to his amazing desk organization space. It's a minimalist stationery lover's dream. And the way that he approaches his own personal system of tracking your task and what's important is called analog. And today we're going to be taking a look at the entire system and how it works. At its core, analog is a physical tool that's going to help you focus on your most important work. And as we start to unbox this and take a look at everything that comes as a part of this kit, it becomes even more apparent as it's literally broken down on what you're going to do today, what's happening next, and what's going to happen someday. So let's go ahead and take a look at the analog kit. This is coming in a beautiful, nice, simplistic box, analog on the front, the simplest productivity system. Honestly, it truly is. We have analog cards, hashtag you can follow along, and then the UgMonk website in analog where you can find that. One of the things you'll hear me say throughout this video, because he brands this on mostly all of his products, is a lot of it's made locally for him in the United States and specifically in Pennsylvania, whether it's the wood that he's using that we'll see in just a little bit, whether it's the metalworking that's done. A lot of that is all done by crafters around where he lives in Pennsylvania, which I think just takes this to the next level. So if we unbox the kit, inside of here we're going to see a handful of things. I don't know what this top piece is because I thought it was just the analog cards, but we're going to go through it all. So we have 3 boxes inside of here. These are going to have all of the vertical cards that come from them. You also have the analog stand. This is the card holder. So this is going to hold on to the cards themselves as well as set them up vertically as well. Also inside of here you have the description on exactly how this works. So let's first go ahead and open this up because I'm not sure what this is. It says analog travel case. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so this is a really cool felt holder that can hold onto your cards for when you're traveling. We think about this all the time when we're talking about our bullet journal and carrying around a notebook. I never thought about how you would carry along analog cards if you were taking this somewhere else with you. This has plenty of space in here for your cards and also a little pen holder over here on the side. It's pretty neat. So let's go ahead and open up the card holder. This is just absolutely beautiful. I loved seeing this online. It always grabs my eye. It's the wood, honestly, that's doing it for me. So inside of here, you are going to find the walnut holder. This comes in a few different colors that you can get. We also have a metal plate here on top, and we have instructions on the inside. And this is magnetic, and this is actual steel. So this all kind of works together. This card here has all the details. You have your front holder here for your cards. It has a storage space for you to keep all of your notes, and this divider that's going to separate new from old. So the metal divider is here. It snaps onto the base with these magnets, and it's creating a really nice, easy shelf. And this will make it really easy for you to access your next and your someday cards, or even your today cards, depending how often you're grabbing these. On the reverse side of this card, it has some more details. It's talking about how this actual card holder is made out of solid wood. It's not made out of veneer. And because of that, every card holder is going to be unique. And like I mentioned, handcrafted in Pennsylvania. They partner along with local woodworkers and metal fabricators, as well as Amish craftsmen in Pennsylvania. Each card holder goes through a detailed 17-step process from raw material to the finished product. So now that we've gone ahead and talked about the holder, now let's talk about these cards. So the analog system itself works off of 3 types of cards that are inside of these packs. Each one of these packs holds 50 analog cards, is going to get 35 today cards, 10 next cards, and 5 someday cards. And each of these are printed on really nice 100-pound, just smooth, uncoated paper. And also what's great is that each one of these packs can be all held inside of one of the holders. So you don't ever have to worry about finding extra storage space, at least for your current pack of cards. So let's go ahead and take a look at how I've been using the UgMonk cards. So like I mentioned, we have our someday cards, we have our next cards, and we have our today cards. So the way that you're supposed to use these, even though it's kind of open for your interpretation, is that every single day card would get a date on the top and then the task that you want to accomplish in that specific day. And then when the next day comes, you cross out or use any of your signifiers and start with a brand new card for a brand new day. Now, I can't do that. And here's the reason why, is that I found that while I keep this out on my desk and I'm using it for social media and personal things at home, I don't get to totally dedicate all of my time to that. So there are some days where I can accomplish a task or two if I need to call someone or work on a video or post something specific, but then I might not touch anything social media or personal wise for a few days since I'm mostly going to be focusing on work. So what I do is kind of use up most of the card on my today card before I go ahead and switch it. And so most of the days you're going to see that I have about a day or two worth of notes on there, and I have the dates that I'm really utilizing it. So when I go ahead and set up a new card, I'll go ahead and date it with the day of that. And then I'll go through and kind of move everything over. Now, I have been using the circle signifier for a few different things. The main thing is that if it's fully filled in, that means that that task has been accomplished. If it's half filled in, that means that I've started it but not completed it. For anything like that, I go ahead and put a little arrow next to it. That's the bullet journal signifier in me to let me know that I'm going to go ahead and move it forward to the next day. I will tell you that it has been a little bit difficult some days thinking about like, okay, what do I want to do today? Because I might only be able to really realistically accomplish one or two things, but I have all these things in my head that I want to make sure that I'm getting out. That's where the next cards come into play. The purpose of your next cards are a place to put ideas and things that you want to work on next. The most priority thing that comes after what you want to accomplish today. Similar to the today cards, your next cards have all the same features on it. You have a space for your date. You have kind of the open area with the circles at the top for organization if you want to. And then you also have the 10 spaces down the card where you can fill in what you want to try to accomplish. Now for me, I haven't really been putting dates on these next cards because really they're like a back brain for me. There's space for me to say, okay, this is the next set of things that are a priority for me, but I'm not going to put a date on it just yet, but I am going to get to it. And similar to a bullet journal where you might take something from your future log and bring it up, I do the same exact thing with my next cards. If it's something that I want to accomplish that day, I'll move it from next to my today card and go ahead and just migrate that forward to let me know that I've done that, or sometimes I'll just cross it out if it's been done. I've been using the same signifiers on these, migrating them forward if they move to a today card, or I've been doing the opposite migration if I've moved them to a someday card. Your someday cards have a really nice craft paper look to them, and the idea of these are future ideas on things that are just not a priority today or tomorrow, but again, something that you want to get to someday. After I've moved things a few times between my today cards and my next cards, I finally made the decision to start utilizing my someday cards for things that are going to happen way in advance. This literally is something that I just started using this week, as weird as that is to say it, even though I've been using these cards for the past 4 or 5 weeks. I just finally had the guts to admit to myself that it wasn't going to happen today or tomorrow, but that it will someday happen. And because I'm looking at these cards and I'm going through a process every day or every other day, I am reviewing each today card, each next card, and each someday card just to make sure I'm keeping all of those tasks top of mind. One thing I haven't fully utilized is the backside of the cards because I've been trying to think a little bit more about how I would use those. Honestly, right now I've just used it almost as like a side scrap of paper. So for example, I was working on a Halloween video review and I needed to write down the timestamps that were going to make it into the YouTube video. I didn't want to write it inside of my bullet journal notebook that I had because it's just kind of a messy idea. So I just flipped my today card over and wrote it there, and then it just goes away. I'm not going to really reference that again in the future. One of my favorite things to do with this whole case is that when I'm done with the today cards and the next cards, that you just automatically archive them in the back side of your holder here. You just slip them right underneath all your other cards that you have. Now, something that I'm very excited about at some point in the future is that Ugmonk makes an archival box for all of your cards. They only made a few of these, again, because these are handcrafted and they sold out in like seconds. But I will have an archive box back here at some point. Like, that's how much I love this system. So we've gone over how to use each of these today and next and someday cards, but they also have another view that I personally really love. As someone who loves weekly views inside of my bullet journal, they also have a weekly view for analog cards. So for that, we're going to go ahead and unbox the Analog Weekly. Similar to the Analog Day cards that we were looking at, the weekly cards comes with a beautiful horizontal holder and 52 weekly cards. It's a full year supply inside of this kit. So you have your main Monday through Friday at the top with your Saturday and Sunday at the bottom. I'll tell you personally, I love the way that this layout works because so much is happening for me during the week and maybe a handful of tasks or a handful of events happening on Saturdays and Sundays. So like the layout of this card is just absolutely perfect for me. So I've been using this for that weekly overview of social media and personal tasks, completely separate from my weekly inside of my bullet journal. So every Monday when I'm filling these out, I'm just going through my calendar, taking a look at what's going on, what events are happening for me, if I have any appointments. And just recently, I started also putting my workouts on here as well. And now every Monday, when I come down into this office space and I prepare myself for the week, I set up my bullet journal and make sure everything work-wise is handled. And then I sit down here at my desk, and this is where I start to really just plan out my week. I'll take down my analog cards for today, next, and someday and review through those, and then also take my analog weekly and look at my calendar and set up that full week together. On top of the cards and everything working beautifully, I just love the way this looks on my desk. It is beautiful. It is streamlined, and honestly, I'm completely addicted to all things Ugmonk. I even got the monitor stand during one of their sales recently. I mean, I'm all in here. Like, this has been really awesome and just totally fits my aesthetic. I love it so much. We talk a lot about bullet journaling and notebooks and stationery on this channel because bullet journaling is something that has worked for me for a very long time. But it only seems right now for me to be connected very much to work. But in my personal life, I've really been searching for the next best thing. And I set up an at-home bullet journal that sits on my desk that I do keep track of some things in, but I just wasn't really using it to the extent that I thought that I wanted to. And so when the analog system came into my life, it just clicked. And something about it is working so incredibly well for me that I really can't stop talking about it. When I'm bullet journaling, I like to express some of that creativity in my weekly because I'm looking at it every single day. But with the analog system, I love the simplicity of it. I love just jotting down what I have to accomplish that day or next or someday. And the process of sitting down with my weekly and filling that out and taking a look at what's happening across the board just makes me feel more prepared for the week. And that's an amazing feeling to have, honestly. So if you're interested in trying the analog kit, there are a few different ways that you can get up and running. If you want to go all Ugmonk, get the card holder and get the cards, I'd actually recommend getting the starter kit because it gives you really everything that you need. You can pick between a walnut or a maple wood card holder. As a part of the kit, it's $69 for that. And then you can pick the card frequency that you want. You can just start with the one-time purchase of the 3-pack. That's 50 cards each. That's 35 today cards, 10 next day cards, and 5 someday cards in each one of those packs. So that times 3. Or if you want to sign up for their subscription, you'll get a 3-pack every 3 months. Because there are 35 today cards in here and technically you use one each day, that covers you for a month. If you're not so much worried about the card holder, even though it is super cool and I think it really makes the whole aesthetic on point, you can just buy a single pack of cards if you want to. One pack is going to cost you $13, and that's going to have the 35 today cards, the 10 next cards, and the 5 someday cards. They also sell them in a 3, 6, or 12 pack if you want to just get them all for the year, but totally up to you. If you're not 100% if this system is really right for you before you buy and go all in, Jeff actually offers a free trial of the analog cards that you can try. They're absolutely free, you just have to pay for shipping. But you'll get a total of 14 analog cards. It'll be 10 today cards, 3 next cards, and 1 someday card. Everything is exactly the same, but that gets you about a week and a half worth of time to really play around with this system first to see if you like it before you go all in. There are a lot of different options for these cards, and if you're really unsure about going all in on it, even though I think it's totally worth it, you can also use the discount code that Ugmonk's provided that you can use, and it'll save you 10% off your order off of their website. You'll just go to ugmonk.com/markyourpages or use the code markyourpages, and that'll get you 10% off anything that you purchase from their site. And if you purchase over $150 worth of stuff, which is super easy to do, you can get free shipping from them as well. I have to give a big shout out to Jeff from UGMonk for sending this out. This was a no strings attached try, really. He's like, I just want you to try this out and let me know. But I've loved this so much that I just feel like I have to just sing it from the mountaintops. It's been such a cool system to use and it just makes sense. And I think that's what I love so much about it, is that you can customize it to fit what you want, but it does have some structure to it that can work out really well. This isn't replacing my bullet journal for work, but this could be something you could use at work if you really wanted to, if you're not really a journal type person. I love my bullet journal for what it does in that space, but I'm really loving this analog system for what it's doing in my social media / personal life. I still have my bullet journal that I'm taking down notes and other important dates and trackers for my social media stuff here, but for those day-to-day tasks, for the video tasks and things like that, this has been awesome. I'd love to hear from you down in the comment section below on what you think about analog and if this might be the right system for you. Whether you've tried bullet journaling or another thing before, does this fit your need or might this fit your need? And also your aesthetic. You can't deny how beautiful that this looks. All right, crew, I'll talk to you next time. And as always, take it easy. See ya.